It's Storytime with Fadam and Friends.
So when I was developing jokes about my sister, I have a part where she was dating another Down syndrome guy, and one of the jokes I had was when I went to go talk to him that I said, "Hey man, I know you got the mind of a 6-year-old, but you still got the dick of a 42-year-old." And it was a fine joke, but I had a woman, and I get different reactions. And when I was feeling this out, I had a woman stand up and just go, "Fuck you." This is an old woman, and they were enjoying the whole show. And she just stood up and goes, "Fuck you, too far," and just like flipping me off, walking out. Her and her husband. These people are like 65, like a fuckable 65, and they were so pissed. And I remember seeing that, and like they were enjoying all of the material. Not just the Down syndrome sister stuff, but the rest of my act. And it was like I just ruined them because of that one dirty joke. And that's why, a lot of people say working clean, I think, is harder. But I think working subversive is almost harder because you can say something that you can't recover from if you burn people to the core of like their morals.
Dark material too.
Yeah,
like,
that's what
really,
I mean.
Yeah, like anything that like death, just like tragic type shit, you can lose people harder than if you just said the F word.
Oh yeah, for sure. Also, I could tell one more story. I don't know, like
that was a pretty. Okay. I don't know if we're counting that.
Henry, cut to story 2.
Storytime section 2 is a new. Also, I don't have the music, Henry, so you're gonna have to put that in for the audio.
I believe in you, Henry. All right. Okay, so this is a good story for doing Jokers because this happened to me the first time I headlined Jokers. I did a Thursday. Brad Upton did the Friday, Saturday because they were like, he's not ready for weekend yet, but they still gave me the Thursday. So the week before, I was in a comedy competition at Fort Wayne, Indiana, 2018, and I got like a cheap hotel, like awful rewards.
Was it World Series of Comedy?
Yeah, World Series of Comedy. I'm going there. And I show up to this hotel, and the guy walks me to my room, and he opens the door, and he's like, "Is this okay?" It's like 1 a.m, and no one's ever walked me to my room before, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Like as soon as he opened the door, I'm like, "Well, I can't go anywhere else." I didn't have a rental car. Like I took an Uber to get there. I was like, "I gotta stay here." There were like cigarette burns all over, and then later I found it was probably like warm spoon burns, and. Anyway, I was, back then I would do like push-ups before I went to bed, and I got down and I looked at the carpet and I'm like, not tonight, man. Nah, dude, I'm good. And I fucking slept in my shoes, dude. It was so nasty. And
So you went to bed with no pump?
No pump. No, dude. Well, my heart was racing for fear. So in some ways I did have a workout. And then the daylight happens. I'm going to go get breakfast. I stay in my room because there's like an intense argument, like wildly intense. A man and a woman screaming at each other, right? Like just going. And I mean, it's so like I'm getting scared. Like I go to flip the thing on the door, falls off. And they're like, "Ah, ah, ah," and I hear like bang, like he's slamming her against the wall or some shit, and it's close to my door, so like my door's shaking, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And this place like was not, it was such a bad hotel, and so I push a desk up against the door, and I'm like, what the fuck? And it finally dies down, and I was like, I gotta sleep for a little bit. I go to sleep, wake up, the fire alarm's going off. Place is filled with smoke, and it's like the fire alarm is like broken, so it's like, and I'm like, oh shit. I mean, I can't see. Like it's full on. Like I'm gonna crawl. I have to get below the smoke, and I go to crawl, and I almost touch the carpet again. I'm like, oh fuck, I'm not there yet, and I just like crab walking around because it's still. And I go, and I can't see, and I go to grab the door of the hotel. And the desk is still there, so I'm like, oh shit, I gotta move this desk. So I'm like pulling on it and shit, but I had my shoes still on, so it wasn't hard. So I'm like pulling on it, and I open the door.
This was all the same night?
No. This was next morning.
Okay,
so I slept through the night. Arguments happening in the morning. And then it's like 2 p.m. I mean, I woke up from this. I haven't eaten. I'm starving.
Yeah.
I finally get out.
Did you fly into Indy or
Chicago? I flew into Fort Wayne.
Okay.
So I Ubered right from Fort Wayne, Indiana, Fort Wayne Airport. I go I walk out of the hotel. It's the first time I've seen the hotel or motel in the daylight, and it's clearly a like prostitute pimp situation. I didn't see it the night before. There was a massive strip club like within walking distance.
Yeah.
And there's like 6 hookers outside their room just in their day clothes, but still got the night lashes on, and the smoke comes pouring out, and I walk out, and they're not even phased. Like, they're not like, oh my God, are you okay? What's happening in there? They're still talking to each other, and I'm looking around like, do you guys not see the smoke coming out of the room? And I'm like, what is going on? And this woman looks over at me, and she's smoking. She's like, that's why nobody stays at 175, baby. And I'm just like, what the fuck? And so I crab walk into the room, and I grab my shit. I had my...
What was it?
So I grab I grab the shit I can. I don't want to leave it there because I didn't know, it seemed like it was gonna get stolen.
Yeah.
And I put all my shit there, and I go to the front desk, and I'm like,
how dare you say that, by the way?
What, that it gets stolen?
That it felt like it might get stolen.
Oh yeah,
in a place like that.
No, these were honest whores. What am I saying? And so I go to the front desk. I knock on the bulletproof glass. I'm like, hey man, my room's on fire. And the dude, like, you'd think the guy would be like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
He's like, did you leave the bathroom light on? And I'm like, I don't know, man. We had, like, it's an emergency. And he's like, argh. And he's like, just like, it's like an old toilet that doesn't work. Like, I gotta fix this shit again. Like, he grabs a fan. Like, this is clearly a problem that's happened over. Grabs a couple fans, just walks into the room with the smoke, turns off because I left the bathroom fan on, apparently, which melted all the wires. So it's not even like, this doesn't smell like campfire, dude. It smells like
electrical fire. Yeah,
it smells like I just am burning a car battery and tires and shit. So my clothing all smells horrific, and I have a little silty ash all over my toothpaste and everything. So I go to the club early. I go to the CVS. I buy a bunch of stuff so I can brush my teeth. And I'm brushing my teeth in the parking lot. I win that night, probably because my energy was so insane.
Yeah.
And I skipped this too, but after, so they get the smoke out, and they're like, "Do you want another room?" I'm like, "Fucking yeah, dude. Yeah. You know what? I want a different life. If you could fucking take those wires and put them in my head and fucking kill me, that would be the best thing." And the guy puts me in another room. It's clean, but I open up where the Bible is. There's no Bible. There's a pentagram drawn that's red, and then someone typed a message that's like, "Pray for Tove." So I was like, Jesus Christ, this is just one bad omen. So anyway, I win this contest. It's 2 rounds. So I do the first round.
Yeah, I've done it before.
And then, so you know the World Series of Comedy. And so then I win the second round. And they're like, "Oh, this means you get to come here and work at this club again." I'm like, "I'm never fucking coming to this piece of shit city again." You know, and so then we're hanging out with all the comics, and then Joe, Joe then?
Yeah,
the guy who runs it? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
So Joe's out there, and I'm telling them this whole story, and dude, and I'm like manic. I'm like, just fucking these guys, I got ash in my fucking hair. I'm like losing my mind, and he's like, "Yeah, that's wild." I go, "What would you have done if I had died in that fight? Like, would you have canceled the show? What would you have done?" He's like, No, I think we could have covered. I'll just give everybody 2 more minutes to cover the time.
That's so great.
Yeah. So, and then the next week was one of my first headline. It was my first club headlining set in Richland.
Fuck yeah.
And I had to go buy shirts at Walmart because all my shit smelled like a fucking tire fire.
That's so crazy.